4-01-13, an ordinance establishing floodplain zones within the town of Indian Head and requiring a permit for all development within the designated floodplain zones. Annie, will you read the, well, not the whole ordinance because it's 29 pages long, but.
Yeah, I'll just read the sections we did last time.
Okay.
Ordinance number 04-01-13, introduced by Mayor and Council. Date introduced April 1st, 2013. Date adopted May 6th, 2013. Date effective May 27th, 2013. An ordinance establishing floodplain zones within the town of Indian Head and requiring a permit for all development within the designated floodplain zone, providing certain minimum standards for construction within the floodplain zone, setting forth standards and procedures for submission and approval of plans for development, and establishing penalties for failure to comply with the provisions of this ordinance. Whereas Chapter 65 of the Code of the Town of Indian Head contains the town's floodplain management plan, and whereas the Maryland Department of the Environment has notified the town that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has made numerous changes to the National Flood Insurance Program, and whereas these changes are required to be made to all existing floodplain ordinances throughout the state. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Town Council of Indian Head, Maryland, that Chapter 65 of the Code of the Town of Indian Head be amended by the following. 65-1 title. This chapter shall hereinafter be referred to as the Town of Indian Head Floodplain Ordinance. 65-2 findings. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has identified special flood hazard areas within the boundaries of the town of Indian Head. Special flood hazard areas are subject to periodic inundation, which may result in the loss of life and property, health and safety hazards, disruption of commerce and governmental services, extraordinary public expenditures for flood protection and relief, and impairment of the tax base, all of which adversely affect the public health, safety, and general welfare. Structures that are inadequately elevated, improperly flood-proofed, or otherwise unprotected from flood damage also contribute to flood losses. The Town of Indian Head, by resolution, agreed to meet the requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program and was accepted for participation in the program on April 1st, 1985. As of that date, or as of October 15th, 1985, the initial effective date of the Town of Indian Head flood insurance rate map, all development and new construction as defined herein, are to be compliant with these regulations.
Thank you, Annie. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 04-01-13?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
None.
This is basically an update to the floodplain maps and an update to our ordinance to bring it current with the standards of the state's floodplain ordinance, floodplain regulations, and it will then enhance the continued participation or benefits for the residents of the town of Indian Head in terms of the flood insurance program, National Flood Insurance Program. Basically, there are no occupied facilities in the town of Indian Head within the floodplain. There are no planned developments or properties to be developed within the floodplain. So generally we should be in pretty good shape, and because of this ordinance, you should be able to get flood insurance at a reasonable rate. Are there any questions on this ordinance before we vote on it? Seeing none, Annie, will you call the vote?
Councilman Albright?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rice?
Adopt.
Mayor Chesley?
Yes. The ayes have it. The ordinance will be adopted tonight. The ordinance passes and will be adopted tonight. It will become effective May 27th, 2013. The second ordinance is ordinance number 05-01-13, an ordinance adopting the town financial plan and budget and setting the tax rate, schedule of fees for various permits and the major facilities fees, water, sewer, and trash removal, and disposal rate for the fiscal year 2014. Annie, will you read the, again, pertinent pages of the portions of the ordinance? This ordinance is 10 pages long as well, so we won't read the whole thing, but we'll read the introductory stuff and the portions dealing with the tax rates.
Ordinance number 05-01-13, introduced by Mayor and Council. Date introduced April 11th, 2013. Public hearing April 11th, 2013. Date adopted May 6th, 2013. Date effective July 1st, 2013. An ordinance adopting the town financial plan and budget and setting the tax rate, schedule of fees for various permits, the major facility fees, water and sewer and trash removal, and disposal rate for the fiscal year 2014. Be it ordained by the Council of the Town of Indian Head, Maryland, that the financial plan and budget for the Town of Indian Head for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2013 and ending June 30th, 2014 shall be indicated in the document attached hereto entitled Financial Plan and Budget for Fiscal Year 2014. The Town of Indian Head tax rate on real property having location within the corporate limits of the Town of Indian Head is set at 30 cents per $100 of full market value. Corporate and personal property taxes are set at 80 cents per $100 of state assessed value. Financial plan and budget for fiscal year 2014, general fund revenues, $1,323,148. General fund expenditures, $1,323,148. Trash fund revenues, $573,300. Water sewer fund revenues, $1,186,664. Trash fund expenditures, $573,300. Water sewer fund expenditures, $1,186,664. Parks/Pavilion Fund, $1,315,563. And that was revenues, and this is expenditures for Parks and Pavilion Fund, $1,315,563.
Thank you, Annie. Annie, is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I have none.
I just have a few. I'd just like to let the citizens know there are no new fees and no increase in any of the fees. So no new stormwater fee, no rain fee, as you've been hearing, the rain tax. There's no stormwater fee. Trash fees stayed the same. Your water and sewage stayed the same. Property tax rate stayed the same. Capital contribution stayed the same. No new fees, no increase in any fees.
The town does not have a stormwater management fee, or also commonly being called the rain tax, but the county is considering a stormwater management fee, and if and when they adopt one, it will probably also apply to the residents, the property in the town of Indian Head, until such time as we adopt our own fee. Any questions from the audience on this ordinance? Yes. For the county? No, we don't. Any other questions? Seeing none, Annie, will you call the vote?
Councilman Albright?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rice? Mayor Chesley?
Yes. The ayes have it, or the yeses have it. The ordinance passes and will be adopted. It will become effective July 1st at the beginning of the fiscal year. One other budget-related remark is not directly related to the town's budget. The town budgets our tax rates and our enterprise fund rates to fund the programs that we have in place to provide services to the citizens. Each year we have a meet and confer with the county commissioners to talk about those services that we provide, and therefore they don't need to provide, and talk about a tax differential to offset those costs to our citizens in the town of Indian Head that also pay county tax. We have chosen over the years to make that be a tax differential that would go back to the taxpayer. It doesn't come to the town, but it goes back to the taxpayer. It goes back to you all to offset your county taxes for the services that the town is providing. This year, the county calculated that the value of those services was 4.8 cents per $100 of assessed value of your property. When they adopted, have they adopted their budget? I don't think they've adopted their budget, but currently they're proposing to reduce that tax differential from 4.8 cents to 3.9. So they're keeping almost a penny of that tax differential for themselves or for the county, as opposed to giving it back to our citizens. And at the same time, they're not providing those services because we do. We argued that they calculated the rate, we understood the calculation, and we thought they should adopt that full tax differential rate. For the last several years, they have reduced that tax differential rate. We argued that they ought not to do it this year, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and cut that tax differential rate. And by the way, if you haven't noticed in the paper, they're raising the tax rate, the Charles County tax rate by 8.3 or 8.7.
Almost 9 cents.
Almost 9 cents a hundred. So I guess enough bad news about taxes. Next, we'll move on to petitions. We have none. No unfinished business, no new business. So we get down to miscellaneous. I'll announce the upcoming meetings, and then I'll open the floor for citizens' comments. If you wish to make a comment or address a question to Town Council, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record. The upcoming town meetings and events: the Indian Head Business Association Annual Membership Luncheon will be held this coming Wednesday, May 8th, at 11 a.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. The Green Team meeting will be held on Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. in the Senior Center back room. Community Activities Committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. The Economic Development Commission meeting will be held on Wednesday, May 15th here May 15th at 7 p.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. Bike to Work and Wellness Day will be held on Friday, May 17th from 7 a.m. till noon here in the Village Green Pavilion and/or in the Village Green Park. Planning Commission meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 21st at 7 p.m. in the Village Green Pavilion. Town Council work session will be held on Tuesday, May 28th at 1 p.m. in the Town Hall. Memorial Day ceremony and luncheon will be held on Thursday, May 30th at 11 a.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. And the next town meeting will be held on Monday, June 3rd at 7:30 p.m. here in the Village Green Pavilion. So at this time, I'll open the floor up for questions or comments from the audience. If you wish to address a question or a comment to Town Council, please come up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Hello, everybody. My name's Brandon Paulin. Today, I'm here on behalf of my brother, Hunter. He would be here himself, but he has to go to bed because he has a big day tomorrow. He's been asked by the President's Council on Fitness to share his opinions as a Play 60 super kid. The topics that will be discussed involve fitness, sports, and nutrition in our schools and communities. I'm here tonight to share some information about Indian Head Elementary and the American Heart Association. This Wednesday evening, Indian Head Elementary will be having a wellness night for their students and families. in addition to the Wellness Night activities, the American Heart Association will be holding a jump rope for Heart in honor of Hunter. As many of you already know, Hunter was born with a rare complex of congenital heart disease. His case involves 6 different heart defects, and it's called Shone's complex. Hunter is one of many born with heart defects. As a matter of fact, 1 in every 100 children are born with some form of heart defect. Our family is delighted that the fundraiser is taking place and hopes that much needed funds will be provided for further diagnosis, research, and treatment of such defects. During the Jump Rope for Heart, the students of Indian Head who attend will be learning about kids with special hearts and also learning how to make choices in their own lives to stay heart healthy. Some of the topics that will be addressed is staying tobacco-free, eating right, and using exercise as a good tool for a healthy lifestyle. Tonight, we will have some flyers. I'll put them on the back table after the meeting. There are 2 ways to donate to the cause. You can visit Hunter's Jump Rope for Heart donation page online, and you can donate by check or cash, and there's going to be an envelope back there also. All the information's on the flyer, and that'll be on the back table after the meeting. And we'll be accepting donations till May 12th. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Do you have a report? I see the fire chief came in, so we'll go back to the Bureau of Fire Prevention for a fire prevention report.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Apologize for being late. Busy schedule. For the month of April, fire department had 28 responses. 10 were within the town limits. 18 were to mutual aid responses within Charles and Prince George's County. The EMS division responded to 26 emergency medical service calls, and the department completed a total of 250 hours of training through departmental drills and formal education. I'm proud to say that we have 4 members who have spent since the first week in January and will complete EMT, or emergency medical technician, the first part of June. It's 161 hours per person, so 3 nights a week. These folks are really tracking some hours for us here, but good to say that we'll have some more EMTs when it's all said and done. Last weekend that just passed, they had the annual Southern Maryland Volunteer Firemen's Association annual convention in Leonardtown. The department was there, of course, for the installation of officers and the actual convention. They also have an awards there where, again, and pretty proud of this, for the 12th year in a row, first place in Class 3, year-round, and special project for our fire prevention efforts. So again, my department and myself, we're doing a good job with fire prevention, keeping the fires down in the town.